Hey guys, tonight we are stepping into a world where fashion meant something more than comfort or convenience. We're talking about the 1950s, a decade when every outfit told a story, when getting dressed was an event, and when style required effort, patience, and sometimes a little bit of suffering. Picture this: a young woman standing in front of her bedroom mirror, carefully rolling her stockings up her legs, clipping them to a garter belt, smoothing the seams until they run perfectly straight down the back. Her waist is cinched so tight she has to remind herself to breathe shallow. Her hair is set in pin curls from the night before, and her lipstick is applied with the precision of an artist signing a masterpiece. This is not casual. This is not thrown together. This is fashion as ritual, as identity, as a daily performance of grace. Before we dive in, take a second to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely love this quiet corner of the internet where history and nostalgia meet. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and what time it is right now. I know someone out there is settling in at 11:30 at night, wrapped in a blanket, pretending this counts as productive screen time. Now dim the lights if you can. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft, steady hum. Get comfortable, really comfortable, because we are about to spend some time together exploring a world where fashion was not just what you wore, but who you were allowed to be. Have you ever wondered what it felt like to wear a full petticoat on a summer afternoon, knowing you could not sit down without careful planning? What did it sound like when a woman in heels walked across a department store floor, her steps echoing like a drumbeat of elegance? How long did it take to get ready for something as simple as grocery shopping, when every outing required gloves, pearls, and matching accessories? What did it feel like to own just a few carefully chosen outfits, instead of a closet bursting with fast fashion? And could you survive a single week of dressing the way people did in 1955, when comfort was optional and style was everything? Well, congratulations. You've just woken up in 1955. The radio is playing softly in the kitchen. Your mother is already dressed, hair perfect, apron tied. And outside, the neighbourhood hums with the quiet rhythm of a world that believes looking good is not vanity but virtue. Let's begin. Let us start with the pencil skirt, that sleek, unforgiving garment that defined feminine silhouette in the 1950s. It hugged the hips, tapered at the knees, and required you to walk in small, deliberate steps, as though every movement had been choreographed. This was not a skirt for running, bending, or spontaneity. This was a skirt for posture, for poise, for projecting an image of controlled elegance. Even when your day involves scrubbing floors or chasing children, you slip into it, carefully, tugging the zipper up your side until the waistband sits snug against your ribs. The fabric, usually wool or a crisp cotton blend, does not stretch. It does not forgive. If you have gained even a pound since the last time you wore it, you know immediately. The skirt holds you in place, a gentle but firm reminder that your body must conform to the garment, not the other way around. Walking requires strategy. You cannot take long strides. Your knees stay close together, your steps small and measured, almost mincing. Climbing stairs becomes a careful negotiation between balance and modesty. Sitting down means smoothing the skirt beneath you, arranging yourself with care so the fabric does not wrinkle or ride up. And once you're seated, you stay that way, because standing up again requires the same delicate choreography in reverse. The pencil skirt came in every colour imaginable: charcoal grey for the office, navy blue for meetings, black for evenings out. Some had a small, kick pleat at the back hem, a tiny concession to movement that allowed you to walk almost normally. Others had none, leaving you to shuffle along like someone recovering from a minor injury. But the silhouette was worth it. The pencil skirt made your waist look impossibly small, your hips gently curved, your legs long and lean. It turned every woman into a vision of restrained glamour. You pair it with a tucked-in blouse, always tucked, never loose. A thin belt cinches your waist even tighter, and you add a string of pearls, a pair of pumps, a handbag that matches your shoes. You check your reflection in the mirror, turning slightly to make sure the seams of your stockings run straight down the backs of your legs. Everything must align. Everything must be perfect. This is the armour of the 1950s woman. The pencil skirt says you are serious, professional, dignified. It says you understand the rules and are willing to follow them, even when those rules make walking uncomfortable and sitting a calculated risk. It says you value appearance over ease, elegance over comfort, image over impulse. And when you finally come home at the end of the day, the first thing you do is unzip that skirt and let it fall to the floor. You step out of it carefully, and for the first time in hours you take a full, deep breath. Your waist expands, your hips relax. You stretch your legs, taking long strides across the bedroom just because you can. But tomorrow you will put it on again. Because this is what fashion requires in 1955. Not comfort, not convenience, but the quiet daily performance of being a woman who knows how to dress. Then there was the circle skirt, the opposite of restraint, a glorious explosion of fabric that swirled and bounced with every step. Worn over layers of stiff petticoats, it transformed women into walking works of art. Their skirts flaring dramatically when they danced, their movements amplified by yards of cotton or taffeta. This was the skirt of sock hops, of twirling in the kitchen, of feeling like the world was a stage and you were the star. The circle skirt gets its name from its construction. When laid flat, it forms a perfect circle with a hole cut out for your waist. This means the fabric drapes in soft, generous folds, gathering at your waist and cascading down to mid-calf or just below the knee. The hem is wide, impossibly wide, sometimes measuring several yards around. When you spin, the skirt lifts and floats, defying gravity for just a moment before settling back into place. You wear it with petticoats, at least one, sometimes 2 or 3 if you want maximum volume. The petticoats scratch against your legs, stiff netting that rustles with every movement. They add weight and shape, transforming the circle skirt from a simple garment into something architectural, something that takes up space and demands attention. You have to walk through doorways carefully, angling yourself slightly, so the skirt does not catch on the frame. Circle skirts come in cheerful prints, polka dots, gingham checks, bold florals, stripes. They are made from crisp cotton that holds its shape, fabric that bounces back after being crushed in a car or crumpled on a chair. The colours are bright, optimistic, the kind of shades that make you smile even on a grey morning. You pair the skirt with a fitted blouse or a tucked-in sweater, maybe a thin belt to emphasise your waist, and saddle shoes or flats that let you move freely. This is the skirt of youth, of energy, of Saturday nights at the community centre, where a local band plays and couples dance under dim lights strung across the ceiling. You step onto the floor with your partner, and when the music picks up, you spin. The skirt flares out around you, a perfect circle of fabric floating in the air, and for a moment you feel weightless. Your partner laughs, you laugh, and the room is full of spinning skirts and happy noise and the kind of joy that does not need a reason. But circle skirts are not just for dancing. You wear them to run errands, to visit friends, to walk downtown on a Saturday afternoon. The skirt swishes against your legs as you move, a constant pleasant sensation that makes even the most ordinary tasks feel a little more special. You catch your reflection in a shop window and pause, admiring the way the fabric drapes, the way the skirt makes you look both modest and playful, feminine and free. At home, you hang the skirt carefully in your closet, smoothing out any wrinkles, making sure the waistband is not twisted. The petticoats get their own space, stiff clouds of tulle that refuse to be compressed. You know that tomorrow or next weekend, or whenever the next occasion arises, you will pull them out again and step into that glorious swirl of fabric. Because the circle skirt is not just clothing, it is movement, it is music, it is the feeling of being young and alive in an era that believes looking beautiful is part of living well. Underneath those circle skirts lived the petticoat, the unsung hero of 1950s fashion. Made from layers of tulle, crinoline or netting, petticoats were scratchy, voluminous, and utterly essential. They gave skirts their shape, their bounce, their impossible fullness. Wearing one felt like carrying a small cloud around your waist, a cloud that occasionally poked you in the ribs and made sitting down a tactical challenge. Petticoats are engineering marvels disguised as undergarments. They consist of multiple tiers of stiff netting sewn onto a cotton waistband, each layer flaring out to create volume and structure. The more layers, the fuller the skirt above it. Some petticoats have just 2 tiers, enough for a gentle puff. Others have 5 or 6, creating a silhouette so dramatic it looks like you're floating inside a bell. You step into the petticoat carefully, pulling it up over your hips and fastening it at the waist. Immediately you feel it spring to life, the netting pushing outward, claiming space. It rustles when you move, a soft swishing sound that follows you everywhere. The fabric scratches against your legs, not painfully, but persistently, a constant reminder that you're wearing something unnatural, something designed to reshape your body into an idealized form. Sitting down requires planning. You cannot simply drop into a chair. The petticoat will poof up around you, the netting rising toward your face like an overeager umbrella. So you smooth it down with both hands as you lower yourself, pressing the layers against your legs, arranging everything carefully so you do not look like you're sitting inside a mushroom. Even then, the petticoat takes up space, spreading across the seat, sometimes nudging the person next to you. Getting in and out of cars is an adventure. You gather the petticoat and your skirt in one hand, holding everything close to your body as you slide into the passenger seat. Once, inside, the netting expands again, filling the footwell, brushing against the dashboard. Your date pretends not to notice, but you're acutely aware that half the car is now occupied by your undergarments. Petticoats require maintenance. You cannot just toss them in the washing machine. The netting tangles, the layers compress, the shape collapses. So you wash them carefully by hand, using mild soap and cool water, then hang them to dry in a place where they can spread out fully. Some women starch their petticoats to make them even stiffer, dipping the netting in a mixture of starch and water, then shaping it while it dries. The result is a petticoat so rigid it can almost stand up on its own. You own several petticoats in different lengths and fullnesses, each one paired with specific skirts. A short, puffy one for your circle skirt, a longer, more structured one for your formal dresses, a softer one for everyday wear. They hang in your closet like ghostly bells, taking up more space than any other garment you own. But despite the inconvenience, despite the scratching and the bulk and the way they make sitting down feel like a competitive sport, you wear them. Because without a petticoat, your skirt hangs limp and lifeless. With one, you're transformed. You're fuller, rounder, more feminine. You're exactly what the 1950s says a woman should be. Fashion in the 50s was not just about what people could see. It was also about what they could imagine, and nothing shaped that imagination quite like the bullet bra. Engineered with stiff cups that pointed forward like twin missiles, this undergarment created a silhouette that was both futuristic and feminine, a look that said elegance and aggression all at once. It was uncomfortable, unnatural, and absolutely everywhere. The bullet bra is a feat of structural engineering. Each cup is formed from layers of fabric, stitching, and sometimes even spiral wires that create a cone shape ending in a pronounced point. The cups do not flex or give. They hold their shape whether you're wearing the bra or it is sitting empty in a drawer. When you put it on, your breasts are pushed up and forward, moulded into this exaggerated, pointed silhouette that bears little resemblance to natural anatomy. You fasten the bra behind your back, hooking the clasps with practiced fingers, then adjust the straps until everything sits where it should. The cups feel stiff against your skin, the fabric thick and unforgiving. You glance down and see two perfect points jutting forward, visible even through your slip and blouse. This is the look. This is what sweaters are designed to showcase, what dresses are cut to accommodate, what the entire fashion industry has decided is the ideal feminine form. The bullet bra shows up everywhere in popular culture. Actresses wear them in movies, their silhouettes unmistakable even in modest dresses. Pin-up models pose in them, the pointed cups creating dramatic shadows in black and white photographs. Advertisements tout their ability to create the perfect profile, promising women they will look modern, youthful, uplifted. The marketing suggests that without this specific shape, you're somehow incomplete, somehow less than ideal. Wearing the bra all day is an exercise in acceptance. The rigid cups do not move with you. They do not soften or adjust. If you lean forward, they stay pointing straight ahead. If you twist to the side, they remain fixed. You become acutely aware of your chest in a way you never were before, aware of how it looks from every angle, aware of how it announces itself when you walk into a room. Some women love the bullet bra. They love the way it makes their clothes fit, the way it creates a smooth, structured line under fitted sweaters and blouses. They love feeling uplifted, literally and figuratively, supported in a way that regular bras do not provide. They love the confidence that comes from knowing they have achieved the decade's ideal silhouette. Other women tolerate it. They wear the bra because everyone else does, because fashion demands it, because showing up to work or church or a social event without the proper silhouette would be noticed, commented upon, considered inappropriate. So they endure the stiffness, the discomfort, the way the points sometimes poke through fabric at unfortunate moments. At the end of the day, you unhook the bra and let it fall away. Your chest relaxes, settling into its natural shape. You can breathe deeper, move more freely. You fold the bra carefully and tuck it into a drawer, its pointed cups still holding their aggressive shape even when empty. Tomorrow, you will put it on again. Because this is the armour the 1950s requires, the foundation upon which every outfit is built, the invisible structure that makes the visible world make sense. Before shapewear became a whispered luxury, there was the girdle, a medieval torture device disguised as daily wear. Made from thick elastic and reinforced panels, girdles smoothed, flattened and compressed everything from waist to thigh. Women squeezed themselves into these contraptions every morning, tugging and wrestling until their bodies conformed to the decade's ideal. Breathing was optional, sitting was strategic, but the silhouette, flawless. The girdle is not a garment you slip into casually. It is a commitment, a battle you fight with yourself every morning. You start by stepping into it, pulling the thick elastic up over your legs. The fabric is stiff, unyielding, reinforced with panels and boning that create structure and control. You tug it up over your hips, inch by inch, the elastic gripping your skin, compressing your flesh, redistributing everything into the smooth, controlled shape the decade demands. Once it is in place, you fasten the hooks or zip the side closure, and immediately you feel it. The squeeze, the pressure, the sensation of being held together by sheer force. The girdle flattens your stomach, smooths your hips, eliminates any hint of natural curves that might be considered flaws. It creates a firm, controlled foundation for everything you wear on top, ensuring that skirts hang perfectly, dresses drape smoothly, and no unwanted lines or bulges disturb the silhouette. Breathing becomes shallower. Deep breaths are difficult when your midsection is encased in elastic armour. You learn to breathe from your chest, taking small sips of air, pacing yourself. Eating becomes strategic too. A large meal is out of the question. You nibble carefully, aware that every bite adds pressure against the already tight girdle. Some women loosen their girdles slightly at mealtimes, a secret adjustment made in the privacy of a bathroom stall, then cinch everything back into place before returning to the table. Sitting down is its own challenge. The girdle does not bend easily. It holds its shape, which means your body must work around it. You lower yourself carefully into chairs, keeping your posture upright, your spine straight. Slouching is impossible. The girdle simply will not allow it. In a strange way, it enforces the ladylike posture the era values, keeping your back straight, your shoulders back, your movements controlled and deliberate. The girdle also comes with garters, elastic straps that dangle from the bottom hem, each ending in a metal or plastic clasp. These garters hold up your stockings, keeping them smooth and taut against your legs. You clip them carefully to the tops of your stockings, adjusting the tension so everything stays in place without pulling or sagging. The garters add another layer of complexity to an already complicated undergarment, but they are necessary. Stockings without garters would slip and wrinkle, ruining the polished look you have worked so hard to create. Women wear girdles everywhere, to work, to church, to social events, even to run errands. The only time you are free from it is at home, in the privacy of your bedroom, when you finally peel it off and let your body expand back to its natural shape. The relief is immediate and profound, like surfacing after being underwater too long, but tomorrow you will put it on again. Because the girdle is not just about vanity. It is about conformity, about meeting the standards of beauty and propriety that define womanhood in the 1950s. It is the price you pay for the smooth, controlled silhouette that allows you to fit seamlessly into the world around you. Pantyhose did not exist yet in the 1950s, so women wore stockings held up by garter belts, delicate straps that clipped to the tops of sheer nylon hosiery. Every morning involved rolling stockings carefully up the legs, adjusting the seams so they ran perfectly straight down the back, and praying the clips would hold all day. One wrong move and a stocking could snag, run or slip, and replacing them was expensive. You begin by sitting on the edge of your bed, a fresh pair of stockings in your hands. They are sheer, delicate, made from nylon so fine it feels like air between your fingers. You gather the first stocking carefully, bunching it up from toe to top, then slide your foot inside. Slowly, gently, you roll the stocking up your leg, smoothing it as you go, making sure there are no wrinkles or twists. The nylon clings to your skin, cool and silky, a second skin that transforms your bare leg into something polished and elegant. Once the stocking reaches your thigh, you reach for the garter belt already fastened around your waist. 4 straps dangle from it, 2 in front and 2 in back, each ending in a small metal clasp. You attach the front clasp first, clipping it to the reinforced top of the stocking, then twist slightly to reach the back clasp. The stocking pulls taut, held in place by the tension of the garter straps. You repeat the process with the second stocking, working carefully, precisely, until both legs are covered and everything is secure. Then comes the most crucial step, checking the seams. You stand and turn, glancing over your shoulder at the mirror to see the backs of your legs. Each stocking has a seam running up the centre, a thin line of stitching that must be perfectly straight. If the seam is crooked, even slightly, it is noticeable, and a crooked seam suggests carelessness, a lack of attention to detail that reflects poorly on you. So you adjust, twisting the stocking gently until the seam aligns, running in a perfect vertical line from heel to thigh. Stockings are fragile. The nylon is so thin that a rough fingernail can create a snag, a pulled thread that quickly unravels into a run. A run is a disaster. Once it starts, it races up or down the stocking, creating a ladder of broken threads that cannot be hidden. Some women carry clear nail polish in their purses, dabbing it on small snags to stop them from spreading, but once a run takes hold, the stocking is ruined. You walk carefully, aware of every surface your legs might brush against. You avoid rough edges, splintered wood, anything that could catch the delicate nylon. You sit with your knees together, your legs crossed at the ankle, movements designed to protect your stockings as much as to project modesty. Throughout the day, you check your seams, reaching back discreetly to feel whether they have shifted, adjusting them in the privacy of a bathroom when necessary. Stockings are expensive, a real investment. A single pair costs as much as several hours of work, so you take care of them. You wash them by hand in cool water with gentle soap, squeezing them carefully without wringing, then rolling them in a towel to remove excess moisture. You hang them to dry away from direct heat, and when they are dry, you fold them carefully and tuck them into a drawer lined with tissue paper. Despite the care, stockings do not last long. A few weeks, maybe a month if you're lucky. Eventually they snag, run, or simply wear thin at the heels and toes. You replace them reluctantly, counting out the money, knowing this is just another cost of being a woman in the 1950s, another price you pay for the polished, put-together appearance the world expects. But when your stockings are new, when the seams are straight and the nylon is smooth and flawless, you feel elegant. You feel finished, complete, ready to face the world with confidence. Because in an era when every detail matters, even the invisible details like the straightness of a seam, getting it right means you belong. Saddle shoes were the footwear of choice for teenage girls in the 50s, sturdy leather Oxfords with a contrasting saddle across the middle, usually in black and white or brown and white. They were practical, durable, and just stylish enough to feel intentional. Girls wore them to school, to sock hops, to weekend outings, scuffing them on sidewalks and polishing them back to respectability every Sunday night. You lace them up, carefully, pulling the laces tight, tying them in a neat double knot. The leather is stiff at first. New saddle shoes require breaking in, a process that involves blisters and band-aids and a few days of wincing with every step. But once they soften, they become the most comfortable shoes you own, moulding to the shape of your feet, supporting your arches, carrying you through long days without complaint. The saddle is the defining feature, a wide band of contrasting leather that wraps across the middle of the shoe. On most pairs, the saddle is black or brown, while the rest of the shoe is white, creating a bold, graphic look that stands out. The contrast is sharp, clean, youthful. It says you're not trying to be sophisticated or glamorous. You're just being yourself, a teenager navigating the world in sturdy, practical shoes. You wear saddle shoes with bobby socks, white cotton socks that you fold down into neat cuffs just above your ankles. The combination is iconic, a look that defines teenage girlhood in the 50s. You wear them with circle skirts and petticoats, with capri pants, with any casual outfit that does not require heels. The shoes are flat, grounding you firmly on the earth, giving you the freedom to walk quickly, run if necessary, dance for hours without your feet screaming in protest. At school, saddle shoes are everywhere. You hear them before you see them, the soft thud of rubber soles against linoleum floors, the shuffle of hundreds of feet moving through hallways between classes. Everyone wears them, girls and some boys too, a shared uniform that creates a sense of belonging, of being part of something larger than yourself. At sock hops, you kick off your saddle shoes and dance in your bobby socks, sliding across the polished gymnasium floor while a local band plays and paper streamers hang from the ceiling. Your shoes sit lined up against the wall with dozens of others, waiting patiently for the music to stop and the night to end. When you slip them back on, they are still warm from your feet, molded perfectly to your shape, ready to carry you home. Saddle shoes require maintenance. The white leather scuffs easily, picking up dirt and marks from everyday wear. So every weekend you clean them, wiping them down with a damp cloth, then applying white shoe polish to restore their brightness. You use a small brush to work the polish into the leather, buffing it until the shoes shine. The saddle gets its own treatment, black or brown polish applied carefully, making sure not to get any on the white parts. It is meditative work, this ritual of caring for your shoes, restoring them to freshness, preparing them for another week. Eventually your saddle shoes wear out. The soles thin, the leather cracks, the laces fray. You wear them until they are beyond saving, until your mother finally insists you need a new pair. You go to the shoe store reluctantly, feet measured, new shoes tried on, the whole process feeling like saying goodbye to an old friend. But when you walk out wearing your new saddle shoes, stiff and perfect and ready to be broken in all over again, you feel a quiet sense of continuity. These shoes are your foundation, your daily companion, the part of your wardrobe that carries you through the ordinary beautiful moments of being young in the 1950s. At the opposite end of the spectrum were stiletto heels, narrow spikes of leather and ambition that elevated women to new heights, literally and socially. These heels were thin, precarious, and absolutely devastating to floors, sidewalks, and anyone who tried to walk more than a block in them. But they were also glamorous, transforming every step into a statement. Stiletto heels arrived in the 50s like a revolution wrapped in leather. Suddenly the chunky practical heels of previous decades looked frumpy, old-fashioned. Women wanted height, drama, the kind of shoe that made their legs look impossibly long and their posture impossibly elegant. The stiletto delivered. With heels 3, 4, sometimes even 5 inches high and no wider than a pencil, these shoes were engineering marvels, balancing a woman's entire weight on a tiny point of contact with the ground. You slip your foot into a stiletto pump, feeling the way it tilts you forward, throwing your weight onto the balls of your feet. Your calves tighten immediately, muscles engaging to keep you balanced. Your posture straightens, your spine lengthening, your hips shifting to accommodate the new angle. You take a step and the heel clicks sharply against the floor, a sound that announces your presence before you even enter a room. Walking in stilettos is an art form. You cannot stride naturally. Your steps must be deliberate, controlled, your weight shifting carefully from heel to toe with each movement. You learn to walk on the balls of your feet, barely touching the heel to the ground except for that satisfying click that marks each step. Your hips sway slightly, not from effort but from necessity, the natural result of balancing on such narrow points. Stairs are treacherous. You descend carefully, gripping the railing, placing each foot precisely. Going up is easier, your calves doing most of the work, but coming down requires concentration and nerve. One misstep and you could twist an ankle, tumble forward, create a scene that would haunt you for weeks. Stilettos destroy floors. The narrow heels concentrate all your weight into a tiny point, creating pressure intense enough to dent wood, puncture linoleum, sink into soft ground. Some buildings ban them outright, posting signs that warn against wearing heels that might damage their floors. You learn to walk carefully indoors, aware that every step leaves a mark, and outdoors you avoid soft grass, gravel paths, any surface where your heels might sink and trap you. But despite the challenges, despite the pain and the instability and the constant vigilance required, you wear stilettos because they are beautiful. They make your legs look longer, your figure more elegant, your whole presence more commanding. When you walk into a room in stilettos, people notice. The height, the posture, the click of your heels against the floor, it all creates an impression of confidence, sophistication, power. You pair stilettos with pencil skirts, with fitted dresses, with any outfit that benefits from added height and drama. You wear them to work, to cocktail parties, to dinner dates, always aware that you're performing a kind of feminine elegance that requires effort and sacrifice. Your feet ache by the end of the day, your calves cramping, your toes compressed into the pointed toes of the pumps. But you endure it, because this is what glamour demands. At home, you slip off the stilettos with a sigh of relief. Your feet throb, grateful to be flat on the ground again. You flex your toes, stretch your calves, massage your arches. Tomorrow you will likely wear them again, because in the 1950s, beauty and pain are inseparable. Two sides of the same shimmering coin. When women needed something practical for running errands or driving to appointments, they reached for the car coat, a short, boxy jacket that hit just above the knee. Designed to be worn while sitting, car coats were tailored, often belted, and came in cheerful colours or classic plaids. They were the perfect marriage of function and style, practical enough for real life but polished enough to maintain the era's standards. The car coat gets its name from its purpose. In an era when more families are buying automobiles and driving becomes a regular part of daily life, women need outerwear that works while sitting behind the wheel. Long coats bunch up awkwardly, twisting around hips and thighs, getting caught under legs, creating wrinkles and discomfort. The car coat solves this problem by ending at a shorter length, hitting just above the knee, allowing women to sit comfortably without fighting their outerwear. You slip into your car coat on a crisp autumn morning, pulling it over your dress and fastening the buttons down the front. The fabric is substantial, wool or a wool blend, thick enough to provide warmth without being bulky. The cut is boxy, not fitted, which means it drapes over your clothes without clinging or crushing them. If you're wearing a full skirt with petticoats underneath, the car coat accommodates the volume, skimming over the layers without compressing them. Many car coats come with belts, fabric ties that you can cinch at the waist to create a more defined silhouette. You tie yours loosely, just tight enough to give the coat some shape, then check your reflection in the hallway mirror. The coat is cheerful, a red and black plaid that brightens the grey morning, and the length is perfect, practical without being frumpy. You slide into the driver's seat of your car and the coat performs exactly as designed. The hem sits comfortably around your knees, not bunching or twisting. The boxy cut gives you room to move your arms freely, turning the steering wheel, reaching for the gear shift, adjusting the rearview mirror. You're warm, covered, and completely unencumbered. Free to drive without constantly adjusting your clothing. Car coats come in a rainbow of colours. Bright reds, sunny yellows, soft pastels, classic plaids in combinations of navy and green or brown and cream. They're cheerful, optimistic, the kind of outerwear that makes even a mundane trip to the grocery store feel a little more pleasant. You see other women wearing them too, standing in parking lots, walking into shops, all of you dressed in these practical, pretty coats that signal you are modern women living modern lives. The coat has pockets, deep ones, large enough to hold your gloves, your keys, maybe a small purse. You slip your hands into them as you walk, the wool lining soft against your fingers. The pockets are positioned at just the right height, easy to reach without bending or twisting. When you arrive home, you hang the car coat in the hall closet, smoothing it out on its hanger, making sure the belt is tied neatly. It will be ready tomorrow or the next day, whenever you need to run errands again, drive to an appointment, venture out into the world in your sensible, stylish armour. Because the car coat represents something important in the 1950s, the balance between tradition and progress, between maintaining standards and adapting to new realities. You can be elegant and practical. You can be feminine and functional. You can be a woman who drives her own car, runs her own errands, and still looks polished and put together every step of the way. The shirtwaist dress was the workhorse of the 1950s wardrobe, a button-down dress with a fitted bodice, cinched waist and full skirt. It was modest, versatile and flattering on nearly everyone. Women wore shirtwaist dresses to the grocery store, to church, to lunch with friends, always accessorised with a belt, gloves and a handbag that matched their shoes. The beauty of the shirtwaist dress is in its simplicity. It takes the structure of a men's shirt, the collar, the button-down front, the tailored fit, and transforms it into a feminine dress. The bodice is fitted, shaped to follow the curves of your torso, with darts at the bust and waist that create definition. The collar sits neatly at your neck, crisp and clean, framing your face. The sleeves can be short or three-quarter length, always modest, never revealing. You button the dress from hem to collar, working your way up carefully, making sure each button slips through its corresponding buttonhole. The fabric is usually cotton, sometimes with a subtle print, polka dots or small florals or thin stripes. The cotton is crisp, holding its shape without being stiff, and it breathes well, keeping you comfortable even on warm days. At the waist, the dress cinches, either with a self-belt made from the same fabric or with a separate belt you add yourself. You pull it snug, defining your waist, creating that hourglass silhouette the era values so highly. Below the waist, the skirt flares out, full but not excessively so, falling to mid-calf in soft folds. The skirt has enough volume to move gracefully when you walk, but not so much that it requires petticoats or special care. The shirtwaist dress is endlessly versatile. You wear it to the grocery store with flats and a simple cardigan. You wear it to church with heels, gloves, a hat and your good handbag. You wear it to lunch with friends, accessorised with a colourful scarf and your favourite pearls. The dress adapts to every occasion, dressing up or down depending on how you style it, always appropriate, always flattering. You own several shirtwaist dresses in different colours and prints, a navy one with white polka dots, a soft yellow one with cap sleeves, a gingham check in red and white that makes you feel cheerful every time you wear it. They hang in your closet in a neat row, pressed and ready. Your reliable go-to garments for any day when you need to look put together without much effort. The dress is comfortable too, at least compared to other options. The cotton moves with you, the fit is forgiving enough to allow for deep breaths and normal movement, and the skirt does not restrict your stride. You can bend, reach, move freely through your day without constantly adjusting your clothing or worrying about exposing too much or looking dishevelled. At the end of the day, you unbutton the dress and hang it up, checking for any stains or wrinkles that need attention. Most of the time, it looks just as fresh as when you put it on, a testament to the quality of the construction and the durability of the fabric. You smooth it on its hanger and return it to the closet, already thinking about when you will wear it next. Because the shirtwaist dress is more than just a garment. It is the uniform of the 1950s woman, the dress that carries her through her daily life with grace and ease, the dress that says she understands how to dress appropriately, how to present herself to the world with modesty and style. It is the dress that makes getting dressed in the morning simple, reassuring, a ritual that requires no drama, only competence. Cardigans and matching short-sleeve sweaters became the ultimate symbol of ladylike refinement in the 50s. Known as sweater sets, these coordinated knits were soft, flattering, and endlessly versatile. Women wore them buttoned demurely over blouses, draped across their shoulders, or tied loosely around their necks. They came in pastel pinks, powder blues, soft yellows, colours that whispered rather than shouted. The sweater set arrives in a small box from the department store, wrapped in tissue paper that crinkles softly as you lift it out. Inside are two pieces, a short-sleeved pullover and a matching, cardigan, both knitted from the same fine yarn, both dyed the exact same shade of pale pink. You hold them up to the light, admiring the softness, the way the knit has just enough texture to be interesting without being bulky. You slip the short sleeve sweater on first, pulling it over your head carefully so as not to disturb your hair. The yarn is cashmere or wool, sometimes a cotton blend, always soft against your skin. The sweater fits close to your body, following your curves without clinging too tightly. The neckline is modest, a simple rounded collar that sits just below your throat. The sleeves end at your biceps, leaving your forearms bare, a compromise between modesty and practicality. Next comes the cardigan. You slide your arms into the sleeves, feeling the weight of the knit settle over your shoulders. The cardigan matches the pullover exactly. The same colour, the same texture, the same careful construction. Small pearl buttons run down the front, usually 5 or 6 of them, each one stitched securely in place. You fasten the top 2 buttons and leave the rest open, creating a soft drape that frames your torso. Sweater sets are remarkably versatile. You wear them to work over a simple blouse and pencil skirt, the cardigan adding a layer of polish and professionalism. You wear them to lunch with friends paired with a circle skirt and flats, the soft knit making you look approachable and feminine. You wear them to church, buttoning the cardigan all the way up, adding a string of pearls and your best handbag. The colours are always soft, never bold. Pastels dominate: baby pink, powder blue, mint green, buttery yellow, lavender so pale it is almost white. These colours are gentle, soothing, the kind of shades that make you look fresh-faced and youthful. Occasionally you see sweater sets in cream or white, classic and timeless, or in soft grey, sophisticated and understated, but never red, never black, never anything too dramatic or attention-seeking. You learn different ways to wear the cardigan. Sometimes you button it fully and wear it alone, the pullover tucked away in a drawer. Sometimes you drape it over your shoulders like a cape, the sleeves hanging loose, the whole thing held in place by a small decorative pin. Sometimes you tie the sleeves loosely around your neck, letting the cardigan hang down your back, a casual, sporty look that suggests you're relaxed and confident. Caring for sweater sets requires attention. You cannot simply toss them in the washing machine with everything else. The delicate knit would shrink, pill, lose its shape. Instead, you wash them by hand in cool water with a gentle detergent made specifically for wool. You squeeze the water through the fabric carefully, never wringing or twisting, then roll the sweaters in a clean towel to remove excess moisture. You lay them flat to dry on a table or a clean sheet, shaping them carefully so they dry in the correct proportions. You fold your sweater sets and store them in drawers lined with tissue paper, sometimes adding a sachet of lavender to keep them fresh. You own several sets in different colours, each one ready for different occasions, different moods, different seasons. They are your soft armour, your gentle declaration that you understand the rules of femininity and are willing to follow them. Because in the 1950s, a sweater set is not just clothing. It is a signal. It says you are refined, modest, put together. It says you value quality over quantity, coordination over chaos. It says you're exactly the kind of woman the era celebrates, gentle, pretty, perfectly composed. Capri pants arrived in the 50s as a breath of fresh air, a daring alternative to skirts that stopped mid-calf and showed just a hint of ankle. They were slim, tailored, and considered shockingly casual for their time. Women wore them for leisure, for gardening, for weekend activities, always paired with flats or sandals and often a tucked-in blouse. The first time you wear capri pants, you feel almost rebellious. You slip them on in place of your usual skirt, pulling the slim fabric up over your hips, fastening the side zipper. The pants fit snugly through the hips and thighs, then taper down to end just below your knee, sometimes mid-calf, leaving your lower legs completely exposed. You glance in the mirror and see yourself transformed. Your legs look longer, leaner, freed from the layers of fabric that usually cover them. Capri pants are named after the Italian island where they first became fashionable, a place of sun-drenched leisure and casual elegance. They bring that Mediterranean ease to American suburbs, offering women a way to dress casually without looking sloppy, a way to move freely without sacrificing style. The pants come in solid colours, black, navy, white, or in bold prints, stripes, checks, even florals. You pair your capri pants with a tucked-in blouse, usually something simple and fitted, a cotton shirt in a complementary colour. You add a thin belt to define your waist, and you slip your feet into ballet flats, the perfect footwear for the cropped length of the pants. The whole outfit feels light, easy, modern. You can move without thinking about your skirt flying up or your petticoat showing. You can sit on the ground, climb a ladder, ride a bicycle, all things that would be impossible or improper in a dress. Not everyone approves of capri pants. Some people consider them too casual, too masculine, too revealing. Older women shake their heads when they see young women wearing them to run errands or meet friends. But the younger generation embraces them, loving the freedom they offer, the way they signal a more relaxed, informal approach to life. You wear your capri pants on Saturday mornings when you're working in the garden, kneeling in the dirt to plant flowers, pulling weeds, watering the lawn. The pants protect your legs from scratches and bug bites while still keeping you cool. You wear them to backyard barbecues, standing around the grill with friends, the casual atmosphere perfectly suited to the casual pants. You wear them to the beach, paired with a striped shirt and espadrilles, a canvas bag slung over your shoulder. The pants are practical for walking on the sand, for sitting on a blanket, for the kind of relaxed seaside afternoon that does not require formality or fuss. You wear them on road trips, sitting comfortably in the car for hours, grateful that the slim fit does not bunch or twist the way a full skirt would. Capri pants require confidence. You're showing your calves, your ankles, parts of your legs that are usually hidden. You're wearing pants in public, something that still feels slightly transgressive, slightly bold. But you also feel modern, ahead of the curve, part of a generation that is slowly, cautiously pushing against the rigid dress codes of the past. At the end of the day, you change out of your capri pants and back into a dress or skirt, returning to the more conventional uniform of femininity. But the pants hang in your closet, waiting for the next Saturday, the next garden party, the next moment when you want to feel free and modern and just a little bit daring. Because capri pants represent something important in the 1950s, the beginning of change, the first stirrings of a more casual, relaxed approach to women's fashion. They're a small rebellion, a quiet statement that women can be comfortable and stylish at the same time, that showing a little leg does not mean abandoning grace or elegance. They are the future, arriving one cropped hemline at a time. Swing coats were the outerwear stars of the decade, A-line coats that flared gently from the shoulders, skimming over full skirts without crushing them. They were elegant, practical, and came in rich wools, tweeds, and occasionally fur-trimmed collars. Wearing a swing coat meant you had arrived, literally and figuratively, stepping out of a car or a bus looking polished and put together. The swing coat is designed with a specific problem in mind: how to create outerwear that accommodates the full, voluminous skirts women wear in the 50s without flattening them or making the wearer look bulky. The solution is elegant in its simplicity. Instead of fitting close to the body, the coat flares out from the shoulders in a gentle A-line, creating a tent-like shape that skims over whatever you're wearing underneath. You slip into your swing coat on a chilly autumn afternoon, pulling it on over your dress and petticoats. The coat settles over your shoulders, and immediately you feel its magic. The fabric drapes beautifully, falling in soft folds that suggest your figure without clinging to it. Underneath, your full skirt maintains its shape, the petticoat still fluffy and round, completely undisturbed by the coat. You button the front, usually just 2 or 3 large buttons, and check your reflection. The silhouette is graceful, feminine, the coat adding drama and elegance to your outfit. Swing coats come in luxurious fabrics, heavy wool in charcoal grey or camel, soft to the touch and warm enough for the coldest days. Tweed in classic patterns, flecks of colour woven through the fabric creating subtle depth and texture. Some coats have fur collars, plush mink or fox that frames your face and adds a touch of glamour. The lining is usually satin or silk, smooth against your dress, making it easy to slip the coat on and off. The length varies. Some swing coats hit just below the knee, a practical length that covers most of your skirt. Others are shorter, ending at mid-thigh, showing more of your dress and creating a layered, interesting silhouette. The shorter coats are especially popular with younger women who love the way they add sophistication without looking too mature or matronly. You wear your swing coat everywhere. To church on Sunday mornings, the elegant cut signalling respect and propriety. To downtown shopping trips, the coat protecting you from the wind as you move from store to store. To evening events, the coat thrown over your cocktail dress, keeping you warm as you step out of the car and walk toward the entrance. The coat has pockets, deep and roomy, perfect for tucking away your gloves when you step indoors. Some coats have a single pocket hidden in the lining, a secret place where you keep your compact or a folded handkerchief. The pockets are lined with the same smooth satin as the rest of the interior, your fingers sliding into them easily. Caring for a swing coat is serious business. You cannot simply hang it in the closet and forget about it. The coat needs to be brushed regularly to remove dust and lint. The fabric smoothed gently with a soft bristled brush. If it gets wet, you hang it carefully on a padded hanger, allowing it to dry naturally, never near direct heat. Once a season, you take it to the dry cleaner where it is cleaned, pressed, and returned to you looking fresh and new. When you wear your swing coat, you feel elegant, sophisticated, like a woman who has mastered the art of dressing well. The coat moves with you, swaying gently as you walk, the fabric catching the light, the silhouette flattering from every angle. You are warm, covered, and utterly stylish, ready to face whatever the day brings, because the swing coat is more than outerwear. It is the finishing touch, the final layer that completes your outfit and announces to the world that you're a woman who understands fashion, who values quality, who knows that true elegance is in the details. Hats were not optional in the 1950s, and the Pillbox hat became the era's most iconic headwear. Small, round, and perched on the crown of the head, Pillbox hats were elegant, modern, and just impractical enough to require careful balancing. Women wore them to church, to luncheons, to any occasion that required a touch of sophistication. The Pillbox hat is a study in minimalism. It is small, barely larger than the palm of your hand, shaped like a drum or a small box. The crown is flat, the sides straight, the whole thing constructed from stiff felt or wool that holds its shape perfectly. There is no brim to shade your face, no wide, floppy edges to frame your features. Just a simple, geometric shape that sits precisely on top of your head. You position the hat carefully, angling it slightly forward so it perches just above your forehead. The hat does not cover your hair. Instead, it sits on top of your carefully styled curls like a small, elegant punctuation mark. You secure it with a hat pin, sliding the long pin through the hat and into your hair beneath, anchoring it firmly in place. The pin is both functional and decorative, often topped with a small pearl or rhinestone that catches the light. Pillbox hats come in every colour imaginable. black for formal occasions, navy for everyday wear, bright red or pink for a pop of colour, white or cream for spring and summer. Some are plain, relying on their shape and colour for impact. Others are decorated with small veils, just a few inches of netting that you pull down over your eyes, adding mystery and drama. Still others have embellishments. A small bow, a cluster of feathers, a scattering of beads or sequins. The hat requires confidence to wear. It is so small, so deliberately minimal, that it draws attention to your face, to your hair, to the way you carry yourself. You cannot hide behind a pillbox hat the way you might behind a wide-brimmed sun hat. Instead, the hat frames you, highlights you, demands that you stand tall and own your presence. You wear your pillbox hat to church, where hats are required for women entering the sanctuary. The small hat satisfies the requirement without looking overly fussy or old-fashioned. It says you respect tradition while embracing modernity. You wear it to afternoon teas, to luncheons with friends, to any social gathering where formality is expected but stuffiness is not. The hat changes how you move. You cannot lean your head back too far, or the hat will slide off. You cannot bend over quickly, or it will tumble to the ground. You learn to keep your head level, your movements controlled and deliberate, carrying yourself with a poise that the hat both requires and creates. Storing pillbox hats requires care. You cannot simply toss them on a shelf or stuff them in a drawer. The shape must be maintained, the felt kept smooth and uncrushed. You store your hats on a shelf in your closet, each one sitting upright, hat pins removed and stored separately. Sometimes you fill the interior with tissue paper to help the hat keep its shape. When you arrive home after wearing your pillbox hat, you remove it carefully, pulling out the hat pin, lifting the hat gently from your head. You smooth your hair where the pin compressed it, and you place the hat back on its shelf ready for the next occasion, because the pillbox hat is more than an accessory. It is a symbol of refinement, a small but powerful statement that you understand the social codes of the era. It says you know how to dress appropriately, how to add a finishing touch that elevates your entire outfit. It says you are a woman who pays attention to details, who values elegance, who knows that sometimes the smallest additions make the biggest impact. No outfit was complete without gloves, and white gloves were the gold standard of respectability. Short gloves for daytime, long gloves for evening, always spotless, always pressed. Women slipped them on before leaving the house, a final touch that signalled they were ready to face the world. Gloves were elegance, propriety, and a silent code that said you understood the rules. You owned several pairs of white gloves, each pair reserved for specific occasions. Short cotton gloves that end at your wrists, perfect for daytime wear. Longer gloves that reach halfway up your forearm, reserved for more formal events. And for the most elegant evenings, opera-length gloves that extend past your elbows, transforming your arms into elegant covered columns. The short gloves are the ones you wear most often. You slip them on in the morning after you have finished dressing, pulling them over your hands carefully, smoothing the fabric up your fingers and over your palms. The cotton is soft but substantial, thick enough to provide coverage without being bulky. The gloves fit snugly, following the contours of your hands, each finger encased in its own fabric sheath. Once the gloves are on, you flex your hands, making sure the fit is comfortable, that you can still grip your purse, still press the buttons on your coat, still manage the small tasks of daily life. The gloves add a layer between you and the world, a barrier that keeps your hands clean, protected, proper. You do not touch doorknobs with your bare hands. You do not handle money without gloves. You do not shake hands, pick up parcels, or navigate public spaces without this thin layer of fabric between your skin and everything else. White gloves require constant maintenance. They show every mark, every smudge, every trace of dirt or oil. After wearing them, you inspect them carefully, looking for stains or spots that need attention. You wash them by hand in cool water with a gentle soap, working the leather through the fabric carefully, paying special attention to the fingertips where oils from your skin accumulate. You rinse them thoroughly, squeeze out the excess water without wringing, and lay them flat to dry on a clean towel. Once dry, you iron the gloves, pressing them carefully with a warm iron, smoothing out any wrinkles or creases. The gloves must look crisp, fresh, perfect. You cannot wear wrinkled gloves. That would suggest carelessness, a lack of attention to detail that reflects poorly on your character. You wear your white gloves to church, slipping them on in the car before you step out onto the pavement. You wear them to luncheons, to tea parties, to any social gathering where formality is expected. You wear them shopping downtown, your gloved hands carrying parcels, opening doors, counting out change at the register. The gloves are not just about cleanliness or modesty. They're about social signalling. Wearing white gloves announces that you are a woman of breeding, of refinement, someone who understands and respects the unspoken rules of polite society. The gloves create a barrier, yes, but they also create a standard, a visual reminder that you are not common, not casual, not someone who touches the world with bare, uncovered hands. Longer gloves require even more care. The opera-length gloves you wear to formal events are made from fine kid leather or satin, buttery soft and impossibly delicate. You slip them on carefully, working them up your arms inch by inch, smoothing the fabric as you go. The gloves reach past your elbows, nearly to your shoulders, and wearing them makes you feel like royalty, like someone stepping out of a painting. At the end of the day, you remove your gloves carefully, peeling them off finger by finger, never pulling or tugging. You inspect them, fold them, tuck them away in a drawer lined with tissue paper. Tomorrow, or next week, or whenever the next occasion arises, you will put them on again. Because white gloves are not optional. They are essential, the final detail that completes your transformation from a woman at home to a woman in the world, properly dressed and ready to navigate society with grace and dignity. Pearls were the jewellery of choice in the 50s, understated, timeless, and appropriate for nearly every occasion. A simple strand of pearls could elevate a casual dress, add sophistication to a sweater set, or complement a formal gown. Women wore them to work, to dinner, to church, their soft luster a quiet declaration of taste and refinement. Your pearl necklace lives in a small velvet box, in your jewellery drawer, nestled against the soft fabric, the pearls glowing softly even in the dim light. You lift the strand carefully, feeling the weight of it in your hands, the cool smoothness of each pearl against your fingertips. The necklace is a single strand, 16 or 18 inches long, with pearls graduated in size, the largest ones at the centre, the smaller ones tapering toward the clasp. You fasten the necklace around your neck, reaching behind to work the clasp. Feeling for the tiny mechanism with your fingers, the pearls settle against your collarbone, their weight gentle but present, a subtle reminder that you're wearing something precious. You glance in the mirror and see how the pearls catch the light, how they add a glow to your skin, how they transform your simple dress into something more polished, more complete. Pearls are incredibly versatile. You wear them with everything. With your shirtwaist dress for a trip to the grocery store, the pearls adding a touch of elegance to an otherwise ordinary errand. With your sweater set for lunch with friends, the pearls nestled just above the neckline, catching the eye without demanding attention. With your cocktail dress for an evening out, the pearls classic and timeless, exactly the right choice for a woman who understands understated elegance. The beauty of pearls is that they never look wrong. They are never too formal or too casual, never too flashy or too plain. They occupy a perfect middle ground, appropriate for nearly every occasion, suitable for women of every age. Your mother wears pearls, your grandmother wears pearls, and someday you will pass your pearls on to your own daughter, a legacy of quiet, good taste. Caring for pearls requires attention. They are delicate, organic gems that can be damaged by chemicals, perfumes, even the natural oils from your skin. After wearing your pearls, you wipe them gently with a soft cloth, removing any traces of makeup, perfume, or skin oils that might dull their luster. You never spray perfume while wearing your pearls. You put them on last after your makeup and perfume are already applied, the final touch to your outfit. You store your pearls carefully, never tangled with other jewellery, never tossed carelessly into a drawer. The velvet box protects them from scratches and keeps them clean. Once a year, you take them to a jeweller to have them restrung, the silk thread that holds them together replaced with fresh, strong thread. The clasp checked to make sure it is secure. Your pearls were a gift, perhaps from your husband on your wedding day, or from your parents when you graduated from school, or maybe you saved up and bought them yourself, a reward for a milestone achieved. Regardless of their origin, they hold meaning beyond their monetary value. They represent stability, tradition, the kind of timeless elegance that never goes out of style. When you wear your pearls, you feel connected to something larger than yourself. You feel like part of a continuum of women who have understood the power of simplicity, the beauty of restraint, the elegance of choosing quality over quantity. You feel put together, finished, ready to face the world with confidence. Because pearls are not just jewellery. They are a symbol, a quiet statement that you value classic beauty, that you understand the difference between trendy and timeless, that you're a woman of substance and taste. They are the jewellery equivalent of good manners, always appropriate, always welcome, always right. Sunglasses in the 50s were not just practical, they were glamorous. Cat-eye frames, with their upswept corners and dramatic flair, became the decade's signature look. Women wore them while driving, while shopping, while lounging poolside, their faces half hidden behind tinted lenses that promised mystery and movie star elegance. The first time you try on cat-eye sunglasses, you feel transformed. You slip them on in the department store, looking at yourself in the small mirror on the counter, and suddenly you are not just yourself anymore. You are someone more glamorous, more mysterious, more Hollywood. The frames sweep up at the outer corners, creating a feline shape that elongates your eyes, lifts your cheekbones, makes your whole face look more dramatic and defined. The frames come in different materials. Plastic in bold colours, black or tortoiseshell or even bright red. Metal frames with delicate filigree details, sometimes studded with small rhinestones that sparkle in the sun. The lenses are dark enough to protect your eyes from the California sunshine, dark enough to hide your expression, to create a barrier between you and the world. You buy a pair in classic black, the frames thick and substantial, the upswept corners pronounced and dramatic. You wear them immediately, stepping out of the store into the bright afternoon, and the world dims to a more manageable level. The harsh sunlight softens. The glare from car windshields disappears. Everything becomes easier to see, easier to navigate. But the sunglasses are not just about function. They are about image. When you wear cat-eye sunglasses, you look like someone important, someone who has places to be and people to see, someone whose time is valuable and whose privacy matters. The sunglasses create a barrier, a stylish shield that says you're not entirely accessible, not entirely available. You can watch the world without the world watching you back. You wear your cat-eye sunglasses while driving, the frames perched on your nose, your hands on the steering wheel, the road ahead clear and easy to see. You wear them while shopping, walking down the sidewalk, peering into store windows, the sunglasses adding an air of sophistication to even the most mundane errands. You wear them at the beach, lounging on a towel, a book in your lap, the sunglasses protecting your eyes while you watch the waves roll in. Other women wear cat-eye sunglasses too. You see them everywhere. Hollywood starlets photographed stepping out of cars, their faces half hidden behind enormous cat-eye frames. Fashion models posing in magazines, the sunglasses adding drama and intrigue to their carefully styled outfits. Ordinary women on the street, all of you participating in this shared vocabulary of glamour and style. The sunglasses become part of your routine. You keep them in your purse, always within reach, ready to slip on whenever you step outside. You develop a habit of pushing them up onto your head when you go indoors, using them like a headband to hold back your hair, the frames perched just above your forehead, still visible, still part of your look. You learn to recognize the quality of different sunglasses. The cheap ones have frames that feel flimsy, lenses that scratch easily, hinges that loosen and break. The good ones are substantial, well made, with lenses that are optically correct and frames that fit comfortably, on your face without pinching or sliding. At the end of the day, you clean your sunglasses carefully, wiping the lenses with a soft cloth, removing fingerprints and smudges. You tuck them into a protective case, a small felt pouch or a hard shell that keeps them safe from scratches. You place the case in your purse, ready for tomorrow. Because cat-eye sunglasses are more than eyewear. They're a mood, a persona, a way of moving through the world with confidence and style. They are the accessory that says you are modern, fashionable, someone who understands that looking good is about more than just clothes. It is about the whole picture, every detail carefully considered, every element working together to create an image of effortless glamour. For more daring moments, there was the halter top, a sleeveless top that tied behind the neck and left the shoulders and back bare. Halter tops were summer freedom, youthful rebellion, and just a touch scandalous. Women wore them to backyard, barbecues, to beach outings, to casual dates, always aware they were pushing the boundaries of what was considered acceptable. The halter top is a study in contrasts. It is modest from the front, covering your chest completely, the fabric rising high enough to conceal your cleavage, the neckline conservative and appropriate. But then you turn around and suddenly everything changes. Your shoulders are bare, your back is exposed. The only thing holding the top in place is a thin tie around your neck and another tied at your mid-back. You slip into your halter top on a warm Saturday afternoon, preparing for a backyard barbecue at a friend's house. The top is made from cotton, a cheerful print of cherries or polka dots or nautical stripes. You pull it on over your head, then reach back to tie the strings at your back, fumbling slightly as you work the fabric into a secure knot. Once it is tied, you adjust the front, making sure everything is covered, everything is smooth, everything looks intentional rather than accidental. The freedom of bare shoulders feels strange at first. You're so used to sleeves, to fabric covering your upper arms, that the sensation of air against your skin is almost shocking. You move your arms experimentally, feeling how the halter top stays in place, held secure by the ties, giving you complete freedom of movement without any restrictive sleeves. You pair the halter top with shorts or capri pants, never a skirt. The casual, sporty vibe of the halter demands equally casual bottoms. You slip your feet into sandals, simple leather or canvas flats that let your toes breathe. You check your reflection and see someone young, carefree, ready for summer fun. Not everyone approves. Your mother raises an eyebrow when she sees you, her expression suggesting that perhaps a blouse with sleeves might be more appropriate. Older neighbours glance at you with barely concealed disapproval, their eyes lingering on your bare shoulders, their lips pressed into thin lines of judgment. But your friends are wearing halter tops too, and together you create a small rebellion, a collective decision that summer is too hot and life is too short to care about outdated rules. At the barbecue, you feel the sun warm on your shoulders, the breeze cool against your bare back. You help set up tables, carry plates of food, play badminton in the backyard, all movements that would be uncomfortable in a more restrictive top. The halter top moves with you, stays in place, lets you be active and comfortable without worrying about your clothing. You're aware, though, of your exposed skin. You feel the sun beginning to burn your shoulders and know you will need to apply lotion or find some shade. You feel self-conscious when you bend over, worried that the top might gape or shift. You check the ties periodically, making sure they are still secure, that nothing has come loose. When evening comes and the air cools, you slip a cardigan over your halter top, covering your bare shoulders, returning to a more conventional silhouette. The halter top becomes your secret, hidden beneath the respectable layer of the cardigan, only you knowing what you are wearing underneath. At home, you untie the halter top carefully, the knots sometimes stubborn after hours of wear. You hang it in your closet next to your other summer clothes, the casual, carefree garments that only come out when the weather is warm and the rules are relaxed. Because the halter top represents a small freedom, a tiny rebellion against the rigid dress codes that govern most of your life. It is a reminder that you are young, that summer is short, that sometimes it is okay to show a little skin and feel the sun on your shoulders and remember what it feels like to be free. Poodle skirts became the uniform of teenage girls in the 50s. Felt skirts decorated with appliques of poodles, records, or other playful motifs. They were fun, youthful, and utterly specific to the era. Girls wore them to school dances, to sock hops, twirling in circles while jukeboxes played and saddle shoes tapped against gymnasium floors. Your poodle skirt is a circle skirt made from thick felt, the fabric stiff and slightly scratchy but perfect for holding its shape. The skirt is bright pink, a shade so cheerful it makes you smile every time you see it. Sewn onto the front of the skirt is a large applique of a poodle, the dog standing on its hind legs, wearing a small collar studded with tiny rhinestones. A thin chain leash extends from the collar, embroidered in silver thread, held by a decorative hand also made from felt. You step into the skirt and pull it up over your hips, fastening the side zipper. The felt is thick enough that you do not need a petticoat underneath, though you wear one anyway for extra volume, for the satisfying swish and bounce when you move. The skirt falls to just below your knee, the hem wide and full, ready to flare dramatically when you spin. You wear the poodle skirt with a fitted blouse or a tucked-in sweater, usually something in a contrasting colour. White works well against the pink or black for more drama, or a soft pastel that complements without matching exactly. You add a thin belt to cinch your waist, and you slip your feet into your saddle shoes, the classic footwear for this classic look. The poodle skirt is not just clothing. It is a ticket, an admission pass to the world of teenage social life in the 50s. When you wear your poodle skirt to a sock hop, you become part of something larger than yourself, part of a generation of girls who all look similar, who all share this vocabulary of fashion, who all understand what it means to belong. At the sock hop, the gymnasium is decorated with streamers and balloons. A local band plays on a small stage, or maybe it's just a record player spinning 45s, the music loud and energetic. You and your friends gather near the dance floor, giggling, chatting, waiting for someone to ask you to dance. When a boy finally approaches, you step onto the floor together and the music picks up and you spin. The skirt flares out around you in a perfect circle, the pink felt floating in the air, the appliqued poodle visible to everyone watching. You spin again and again, the movement exhilarating, the skirt performing exactly as designed. Your partner laughs, you laugh, and for a moment you are completely, perfectly happy. Poodle skirts come in many variations. Some have poodles, Some have musical notes or records or telephones. Some are solid colours, others have contrasting trim at the hem. Some are decorated with sequins or beads or embroidered details. But they all share the same spirit, playful, youthful, unabashedly fun. The skirts are expensive, especially if they're custom-made with elaborate appliques. Some girls make their own, cutting circles from felt, sewing on decorations purchased from craft stores, creating unique designs that reflect their personalities. You saved up your allowance for weeks to buy yours, counting out the bills carefully at the department store, carrying the skirt home in a large paper bag, feeling like you'd just acquired something precious. Caring for a poodle skirt is simple. Felt does not wrinkle, so you can hang it in your closet without worrying about pressing it. You spot clean any stains carefully, dabbing at them with a damp cloth, never submerging the whole skirt in water. The felt is too thick, too structured to survive a washing machine. At the end of the night, you hang your poodle skirt back in your closet, smoothing it gently, making sure the applique is not twisted or bunched. You know that next weekend, or the weekend after, there will be another dance, another sock hop, another chance to wear your poodle skirt and spin across the floor and feel young and carefree and exactly where you belong. Scarves were everywhere in the 50s, tied around necks, wrapped around heads, knotted at the collar, tucked into handbags. Silk scarves in bright prints added a pop of colour to neutral outfits. Headscarves protected hairstyles from wind and rain. Scarves were versatile, affordable, and the perfect finishing touch to any ensemble. You own a collection of scarves in different sizes, fabrics, and patterns, each one folded carefully and stored in a drawer dedicated solely to accessories. Square silk scarves in bold prints, geometric patterns or floral designs, or abstract swirls of colour. Long rectangular scarves in soft chiffon, perfect for draping around your neck. Smaller cotton scarves for covering your hair when the weather turns unpredictable. On a breezy spring morning, you choose a silk scarf in a cheerful print, bright flowers against a cream background. You fold it into a triangle, then drape it over your head, tying the ends under your chin in a neat knot. The scarf covers your carefully set hair, protecting it from the wind, keeping every curl in place. You check your reflection and see that the scarf adds a touch of colour to your outfit, brightening your face, making you look polished and put together even on a casual errand. Headscarves become essential when you're driving with the windows down or riding in a convertible. The wind would destroy your hairstyle in minutes without protection, undoing all the work of the pin curls and setting lotion. But with a scarf tied securely over your hair, you can enjoy the breeze, the sense of freedom, without worrying about arriving at your destination looking windblown and dishevelled. You also wear scarves around your neck, knotted at the throat in the style made famous by movie stars and fashion icons. You choose a long, narrow scarf in a solid colour, loop it around your neck, and tie it in a loose knot that sits just below your collarbone. The scarf adds visual interest to a simple blouse, draws the eye upward toward your face, creates a focal point that pulls your whole outfit together. Some women wear scarves as belts, threading them through the loops of their skirts or tying them around the waist of their dresses. Others use scarves to add colour to their handbags, tying a bright scarf to the handle so it drapes down the side. Scarves are endlessly versatile, limited only by your imagination and your willingness to experiment. You learn to tie scarves in different ways. The basic headscarf knot under your chin, the more sophisticated side knot, tied at the nape of your neck with the ends hanging down your back. The turban style, wrapping the scarf around your head multiple times and tucking the ends in, creating a sleek, covered look that is both practical and glamorous. Scarves are also affordable, one of the few fashion items that let you experiment with trends and colours without breaking the bank. A good quality silk scarf might cost a few dollars, but it will last for years if you care for it properly. You hand wash your scarves in cool water with a gentle soap, never wringing or twisting the delicate fabric, then roll them in a towel to remove excess moisture and lay them flat to dry. You iron your scarves carefully, using a low heat setting, pressing the fabric smooth, restoring the crisp finish. You fold them neatly and return them to your drawer, ready for the next time you need a pop of colour, a layer of protection, or simply a finishing touch to complete your look. Because scarves are more than accessories. They are problem solvers, style makers, the small details that transform an outfit from ordinary to special. They are the democratic fashion item, available to everyone regardless of budget, suitable for any age, appropriate for nearly any occasion. They are the punctuation mark at the end of your fashion sentence, the final flourish that says you have thought about your appearance, you've made an effort, you understand that style is in the details. Men and women alike wore Oxford shirts in the 50s, crisp button-downs in white, blue, or pastel shades. For women, they were often tucked into high-waisted skirts or paired with capri pants. For men, they were the foundation of every respectable outfit, worn with ties for work and rolled sleeves for weekends. The Oxford shirt is made from a specific weave of cotton, a basket weave pattern that creates a subtle texture in the fabric. The material is thicker than a regular dress shirt, more durable, designed to hold up to repeated washing and wearing without losing its shape. When you hold an Oxford shirt up to the light, you can see the tiny crosshatch pattern in the weave, a detail that adds depth and interest to what might otherwise be a plain garment. You slip into your Oxford shirt in the morning, pulling it on over your slip, working the buttons from bottom to top. The shirt is slightly oversized, cut with a generous fit that skims your body without clinging. The collar is stiff, reinforced with stays that keep it crisp and standing, framing your face. The sleeves are long, ending at your wrists with button cuffs that you fasten carefully. You tuck the shirt into your skirt, pulling it smooth around your waist, making sure there are no bunches or wrinkles. The shirt blouse is slightly above the waistband, creating a soft, feminine drape that balances the structured fit of the skirt below. You add a thin belt to define your waist, and the whole outfit comes together, casual but polished, comfortable but put together. The Oxford shirt is incredibly versatile. You wear it to work with a pencil skirt and heels, the crisp white fabric projecting professionalism and competence. You wear it on weekends with capri pants and flats, rolling the sleeves to your elbows for a more relaxed look. You wear it under sweaters, the collar peeking out at the neckline, adding a layered, preppy touch to your outfit. Men wear Oxford shirts too, though their styling is different. They wear them with the collar buttoned, a tie knotted neatly at the throat, the whole ensemble formal and businesslike. On weekends, they roll the sleeves, leave the collar open, tuck the shirt into khaki trousers or casual slacks. The Oxford shirt is the uniform of American masculinity, dependable and straightforward, projecting an image of clean-cut respectability. The shirts come in classic colours. White is the most common, crisp and clean, suitable for any occasion. Light blue is popular too, a soft shade that flatters nearly everyone. Pink Oxford shirts are worn by men confident enough to embrace a touch of colour, the pastel shade signalling both style and self-assurance. Women wear Oxfords in these shades and more. Pale yellow, mint green, soft lavender, always in muted, understated tones. Caring for Oxford shirts requires diligence. The cotton fabric wrinkles easily, so after washing, you hang the shirt carefully, while it is still slightly damp, smoothing the fabric with your hands. Once it is dry, you iron it thoroughly, pressing the collar, the cuffs, the Button placket, the body of the shirt working methodically until every wrinkle is gone. The shirt must be crisp, fresh, perfect. A wrinkled Oxford shirt suggests carelessness, a lack of attention to detail. You hang your Oxford shirts in your closet, each one buttoned except for the top button, each one pressed and ready to wear. You own several, enough to rotate through the week without wearing the same one twice. They are reliable, these shirts, the workhorses of your wardrobe, the pieces you reach for when you need to look presentable without thinking too hard about what to wear. Because the Oxford shirt is classic American style, simple, practical, timeless. It is the shirt that crosses generations, that works for both sexes, that never goes out of fashion because it was never truly in fashion, it simply is. It is the foundation, the starting point, the blank canvas upon which you build the rest of your look. The A-line coat dress was sophistication in motion, a structured dress that flared gently from the shoulders, creating a flattering silhouette without clinging. These dresses were tailored, often double-breasted, and gave women the polished look of a coat with the ease of a dress. They were perfect for cooler weather, for office work, for any occasion that required looking sharp. The coat dress is designed to look like a coat but function like a dress, the best of both worlds. It buttons all the way down the front, usually with 2 rows of buttons in a double-breasted configuration, creating a strong vertical line that elongates your figure. The shoulders are structured, sometimes with subtle padding that gives you a defined, authoritative silhouette. From the shoulders, the dress flares gently outward in a classic A-line shape, skimming over your hips and ending just below the knee. You step into your coat dress on a crisp autumn morning, pulling it on over your slip and undergarments. The fabric is usually wool or heavy cotton blend, substantial, enough to provide warmth but not so thick that the dress looks bulky. You begin buttoning from the bottom, working your way up, each button sliding through its corresponding buttonhole with satisfying precision. When you reach the top, you fasten the final button at your collar and the dress is complete. No belt needed, no additional layers required. The coat dress is self-contained elegance. It does not need accessories to look finished, though you add them anyway. A simple strand of pearls, a pair of pumps, a structured handbag. The dress does most of the work for you. Its tailored construction creating shape and structure, making you look polished and professional without any additional effort. You wear your coat dress to work, where it projects competence and authority. The structured shoulders give you presence in meetings. The double-breasted front creates a strong, confident line. The modest length and covered silhouette signal professionalism and seriousness. This is not a dress for frivolous occasions. This is a dress for getting things done. The coat dress also works for church, for luncheons, for any semi-formal occasion where you need to look put together but not overly dressy. The dress straddles the line between casual and formal, adaptable to different contexts depending on how you accessorize it. With simple pumps and a small handbag, it is perfect for the office. With heels, gloves and a hat, it is suitable for more formal gatherings. The fit of the coat dress is crucial. It must be tailored precisely to your measurements, fitted through the shoulders and bodice, then flaring gently from the waist down. A coat dress that is too tight looks uncomfortable and restricts your movement. A coat dress that is too loose looks sloppy, negating the whole point of the structured silhouette. You have yours altered by a skilled seamstress, the shoulders adjusted, the length hemmed to the perfect spot just below your knee. You own coat dresses in several colours. A charcoal grey for serious professional occasions, a deep burgundy for fall and winter, a navy blue that works year-round, appropriate for nearly any situation. The dresses hang in your closet in a row, their structured shoulders holding their shape even on the hanger, always ready, always reliable. Caring for coat dresses required professional attention. The tailored construction, the structured shoulders, the substantial fabric, all of it means these dresses cannot simply be tossed in the washing machine. You take them to the dry cleaner seasonally, having them cleaned, pressed, and refreshed. Between cleanings, you spot clean any stains and hang the dresses carefully, making sure they maintain their shape. When you wear your coat dress, you feel capable, competent, ready to face whatever challenges the day might bring. The dress gives you armour, not heavy or restrictive, but substantial and protective. You stand taller in a coat dress. You speak with more confidence. You move through the world with the assurance that comes from knowing you look appropriate, professional, exactly right. Because the coat dress is more than clothing. It is a statement, a declaration that you are a woman who means business, who takes herself seriously, who understands that appearance matters in a world that judges women by how they present themselves. It is the dress of competence, of authority, of quiet, understated power. At home, women wore house dresses, simple cotton frocks designed for cooking, cleaning, and managing the household. These dresses were practical, washable, and often printed with cheerful florals or gingham checks. They were not glamorous, but they were comfortable, and they allowed women to move freely through their daily routines without sacrificing modesty. The house dress is the uniform of domesticity, the garment you slip into first thing in the morning, before breakfast, before makeup, before you are ready to face the outside world. It is made from lightweight cotton, soft from many washings, printed with small flowers or checks or simple geometric patterns. The dress buttons or zips up the front for easy on and easy off, and it falls to mid-calf, a practical length that keeps you covered while allowing freedom of movement. You put on your house dress while the coffee is percolating, pulling it over your nightgown, fastening the buttons with practiced fingers. The dress is loose, comfortable, designed for a full range of motion. You can bend to pick up toys, reach to dust high shelves, kneel to scrub floors, all without the dress restricting you or pulling tight across your back and shoulders. The prints on house dresses are cheerful, deliberately so. Bright florals in pink and yellow, gingham checks in red or blue, small repeating patterns that hide stains and wear. The fabric is thin enough to be cool on warm days, and if it gets dirty, you simply toss it in the washing machine without a second thought. House dresses are meant to be worn hard and washed often, practical garments that serve a specific purpose without pretension or fuss. You wear an apron over your house dress, tying it around your waist to protect the dress from cooking splatters and cleaning products. The apron has pockets where you keep cloths, small tools, whatever you need close at hand as you move through your morning tasks. Together, the house dress and apron are the armour of the homemaker, the uniform that signals you're working, managing, keeping the household running smoothly. House dresses are not meant to be seen by anyone outside the family. If the doorbell rings unexpectedly, you feel a flash of embarrassment, caught in your work clothes, your hair not yet styled, your face bare of makeup. You answer the door reluctantly, apologising for your appearance even though you're perfectly covered and decent. The house dress is for private moments, for the unseen labour that happens behind closed doors. Some women take pride in their house dresses, choosing pretty patterns, keeping them clean and pressed, treating them as worthy garments even though they are only worn at home. Other women see house dresses as temporary, something to endure until they can change into proper clothing. Either way, the house dress is a constant presence, the background garment of domestic life. You wash your house dresses frequently, sometimes every day if you've been cooking or cleaning heavily. The cotton fabric holds up well to repeated washing, though the colours fade over time, softening from bright florals to gentle pastels. When a house dress becomes too worn, too faded, too stained to wear anymore, You demote it to rag status, cutting it up for cleaning cloths, nothing wasted. By afternoon, if you're staying home, you might change into a fresh house dress, something clean for the second half of the day. If you're going out, you change into proper clothing, a shirtwaist dress or a skirt and blouse, and the house dress goes back into the closet, waiting for tomorrow morning when the cycle begins again. The house dress is humble, unglamorous, easy to overlook. But it is also essential, the garment that allows you to do the work of running a household without worrying about ruining your good clothes. It is the dress of labour, of care, of the endless tasks that keep a home functioning. And in its own quiet way, it is as important as any of the more glamorous pieces in your wardrobe. Swimwear in the 50s was structured, modest, and surprisingly complicated. Women wore bathing suits with built-in bras, ruching for tummy control and skirts or shorts for coverage. These suits were designed to flatter, to hold everything in place, and to ensure that even at the beach, a woman looked pulled together. Your bathing suit is not the simple, stretchy garment of later decades. It is an engineered piece of clothing, constructed from multiple layers and panels, designed to shape, smooth, and control your body, even when wet. The fabric is a heavy cotton or cotton blend, substantial and opaque, with minimal stretch. The suit has boning in the bodice, underwire in the built-in bra, and strategic seaming that creates a flattering silhouette. You step into the suit in the privacy of a beach changing room, pulling it up over your hips and torso, adjusting the straps over your shoulders. The suit fits snugly, holding you firmly in place. The built-in bra lifts and shapes, the cup stiff and structured, providing support and modesty. The bodice is often decorated with ruching gathered fabric that camouflages your midsection, creating visual interest while hiding any perceived flaws. Many bathing suits in the 50s have skirts or shorts attached, a layer of fabric that extends down from the waist, covering your hips and upper thighs. The skirt portion flares slightly, creating a feminine silhouette, moving gracefully when you walk. This extra coverage is considered essential, a way to maintain modesty even in swimwear, ensuring that you're never too exposed, never too revealing. You walk out onto the beach wearing your bathing suit, a cover-up draped over your arm, sunglasses perched on your nose. The sand is warm beneath your feet, the sun bright overhead. You find a spot, spread your towel and settle down, acutely aware of your body, of how the bathing suit fits, of whether everything is staying in place the way it should. Swimming in these suits is a challenge. The heavy fabric becomes even heavier when wet. The suit clinging to your body, the extra weight dragging slightly as you move through the water. The skirt portion floats up, creating resistance, making it harder to swim efficiently. But these suits are not really designed for serious swimming. They are designed for wading, for lounging by the pool, for looking attractive while getting slightly wet. After swimming, you emerge from the water feeling the suit sag slightly, the fabric waterlogged and heavy. You adjust the straps, smooth the skirt portion, make sure everything is still in place. The suit takes hours to dry, the thick fabric holding moisture stubbornly. You wring it out as best you can, then hang it over a chair or a line, waiting for the sun to do its work. Bathing suits come in cheerful colours and patterns, bright red suits with white trim, navy suits with nautical details, floral prints in tropical shades, polka dots and stripes and geometric patterns. The suits are designed to be pretty, eye-catching, stylish even in their modesty. You choose your suit carefully, looking for one that flatters your figure, that makes you feel confident even when you're mostly undressed. Caring for your bathing suit requires attention. The salt water and chlorine are hard on the fabric, fading colours and weakening fibres. After each use, you rinse the suit thoroughly in fresh water, squeezing gently to remove all traces of salt or chemicals. You never wring or twist the suit, never hang it in direct sunlight to dry, as the harsh rays can damage the elastic and fade the colours. You store your bathing suit carefully in the off-season, making sure it is completely dry, folding it gently and placing it in a drawer away from direct light. Next summer, when the weather warms and beach season begins again, you will pull it out, check that everything is still intact and wear it once more. Because even at the beach, even in swimwear, the standards of the 50s apply. You must be modest, put together, flattering in your silhouette. The bathing suit is not about comfort or freedom. It is about maintaining appearances, about looking like a lady even when you're getting wet, about projecting an image of controlled femininity no matter the context. For special occasions, women wore evening gowns, floor-length dresses in satin, taffeta or lace. These gowns were fitted at the bodice, cinched at the waist, and flared dramatically at the skirt. They required undergarments, alterations and careful movement. Wearing an evening gown meant you were not just attending an event, you were making an entrance, a vision of elegance stepping into a room full of admiration. The evening gown is the pinnacle of 1950s glamour, the garment that transforms you from an ordinary woman into something extraordinary. Your gown hangs in your closet wrapped in protective fabric, too precious to be stored casually alongside your everyday clothing. When the invitation arrives for a formal event, a gala, a charity ball, an important dinner, you bring the gown out with reverence, unwrapping it carefully, checking it for any damage or wrinkles. The fabric is luxurious, heavy satin that catches the light with every movement, stiff taffeta that rustles softly when you walk, or delicate lace over silk that creates intricate patterns against your skin. The colour might be classic black, always elegant, always appropriate, or perhaps a deep jewel tone, emerald green or sapphire blue or ruby red, colours that announce your presence before you even speak. Preparing to wear the gown is a process that takes hours. You begin with the undergarments, the foundation upon which everything else is built. A long-line bra or a corset to shape your torso, a waist cincher to create the dramatic hourglass silhouette the gown demands, possibly a crinoline or petticoat if the skirt requires volume. Each layer is added carefully, laced, fastened, adjusted, until your body conforms to the shape the gown requires. Then comes the gown itself. You step into it carefully, or perhaps it zips or buttons up the back, requiring assistance from a friend or family member. The bodice is fitted, tailored precisely to your measurements, hugging your ribs and waist, the boning inside the dress creating structure and support. The neckline might be a modest high collar, or a more daring sweetheart cut that shows your collarbones and the hollow of your throat. Sleeves might be short and fitted, long and elegant, or the gown might be strapless, your shoulders bare, held up only by the tight fit of the bodice. At the waist, the gown cinches, marking the narrowest point of your silhouette. Below the waist, the skirt explodes outward, yards and yards of fabric cascading to the floor in dramatic folds. The skirt is so long it brushes the ground, requiring you to hold it slightly when you walk to avoid tripping over the hem. The fabric pools around your feet when you stand still, creating a dramatic silhouette that photographs beautifully. You add the finishing touches, long gloves that reach past your elbows, opera length, made from soft kid leather or satin, a strand of pearls or a statement necklace that nestles at your throat, earrings that catch the light. Your hair is styled elaborately, pinned and sprayed into submission, possibly adorned with a small decorative comb or a delicate tiara. Your makeup is flawless, dramatic, designed to hold up under bright lights and long hours. When you're finally ready, you stand before the mirror and barely recognize yourself. The woman looking back is polished, glamorous, the kind of person who belongs at elegant events, who moves through the world with grace and confidence. You take a careful step, feeling the weight of the skirt, the restriction of the bodice, the height of your heels, and you adjust your posture, standing taller, your chin lifted, your shoulders back. Arriving at the event, you step out of the car carefully, gathering your skirt with one gloved hand, placing your feet precisely on the pavement. The entrance is important. You walk slowly, deliberately, knowing that people are watching, that your gown is designed to be admired, that this moment is theatre as much as it is social obligation. Inside, you move through the ballroom like a ship gliding through calm water, the gown swishing softly around your legs, the fabric catching the light from the chandeliers overhead. You cannot sit easily, the gown too voluminous, the bodice too restricting. So you stand, you mingle, you accept compliments on your dress, your hair, your overall appearance. Dancing in an evening gown is its own challenge. Your partner must hold you at just the right distance, must lead carefully so you do not trip on your hem. The gown restricts your movements, but it also creates drama. The skirt swirling when you turn, the fabric moving like liquid around you. At the end of the evening, exhausted and exhilarated, you return home and begin the careful process of removing the gown. The zipper is lowered, the bodice loosened, the skirt lifted away. You hang the gown immediately, smoothing the fabric, checking for any stains or damage. Tomorrow you will take it to the cleaner, have it professionally maintained, then wrap it carefully and return it to your closet. Because the evening gown is not just a dress, it is a transformation, a portal into a world of elegance and glamour, a reminder that special occasions require special clothing, that some moments in life deserve to be marked with beauty, with effort, with the kind of intentional grace that only a truly spectacular gown can provide. Pedal pushers with a casual pant of choice for active women, cropped just below the knee with a slim, tapered fit. Originally designed for cycling, these pants became weekend staples, worn for gardening, playing with children, or running errands when skirts felt too formal. They were practical, comfortable, and just modern enough to feel slightly daring. The name comes from their original purpose, pants designed to be worn while pedaling a bicycle, ending at a length that would not get caught in the chain or spokes. But by the 1950s, pedal pushers have evolved beyond their utilitarian origins into a symbol of casual, active femininity. They are longer than shorts, but shorter than capri pants, hitting that specific spot just below your knee, showing off your calves while maintaining a modest, covered appearance. You slip into your pedal pushers on a Saturday morning, pulling them up over your hips, fastening the side zipper or the button closure at the waist. The fabric is usually cotton, sometimes denim, occasionally a cotton twill, always something sturdy enough to withstand real activity. The fit is slim through the hips and thighs, then tapers slightly to end in a neat finished hem just below your knee. The pants feel liberating after days of wearing restrictive skirts and girdles. You can move freely, bend without thinking, sit on the ground, climb a ladder to wash windows, all movements that would be awkward or impossible in a dress. Your legs are mostly covered, maintaining modesty. But you're also comfortable, unrestricted, able to tackle the physical tasks of your day without constantly adjusting your clothing. You pair pedal pushers with simple tops, a tucked-in blouse, a casual sweater, sometimes just a plain cotton shirt. You add a belt to define your waist, and you slip your feet into flats or canvas sneakers, practical footwear that matches the casual, active vibe of the pants. The whole outfit is put together but relaxed, appropriate for home and yard work, but not quite right for public outings or social events. Pedal pushers come in various colours and patterns, classic black or navy for versatility, bright red or turquoise for a pop of colour, gingham checks or striped patterns for a more playful look. Some have back pockets, some have front pockets, some have decorative details like contrasting trim or small embroidered accents. You choose yours carefully, looking for pants that fit well, that flatter your figure, that feel substantial and well made. Not everyone approves of women wearing pants, even casual ones like pedal pushers. Some people still consider pants masculine, inappropriate for women except in the most informal settings. Your mother might raise an eyebrow when she sees you in pedal pushers, suggesting that a skirt might be more ladylike. Neighbours might glance at you with mild disapproval when you appear in the front yard wearing pants instead of a dress. But the younger generation is slowly pushing these boundaries. You wear your pedal pushers in your own yard, in your own home, on your own terms. You wear them to the park with your children, to the beach for a casual picnic, to the drive-in movie where comfort matters more than formality. You're part of a quiet revolution, women claiming the right to dress for comfort and practicality without abandoning femininity entirely. At the end of the day, you change out of your pedal pushers and back into a dress or skirt, returning to the more conventional uniform expected of women in public spaces. But the pedal pushers hang in your closet waiting for the next Saturday, the next opportunity to move freely, to work comfortably, to claim a small piece of casual freedom in a world that still expects women to be decorative above all else. Because pedal pushers represent progress, small but significant. They are the compromise between tradition and modernity, between femininity and practicality, between what women are expected to wear and what they actually need to wear to live their lives fully and comfortably. Evening gloves were more than accessories, they were requirements for formal occasions. Long gloves in satin or kid leather extended past the elbow, transforming bare arms into elegant covered columns. Women wore them to cocktail parties, formal dinners, galas, always removing them carefully at the table, folding them precisely in their laps while dining. Your evening gloves live in a special drawer, wrapped in tissue paper, protected from light and dust. They're made from the softest kid leather, buttery and supple, dyed a delicate cream or white, or occasionally a pale pastel that matches your gown. The gloves are long, so long that when you put them on, they extend past your elbows nearly to your upper arms, covering almost all of your arm from fingertip to shoulder. Putting on evening gloves is a process that requires patience and care. You cannot simply pull them on like everyday gloves. You begin at the fingers, working the leather over each finger individually, smoothing it carefully, making sure there are no wrinkles or bunches. Then you work the glove up your hand, over your wrist, up your forearm, inch by inch, the leather clinging to your skin, moulding to the shape of your arm. The gloves button at the wrist, tiny pearl buttons that require nimble fingers to fasten. There might be 20 buttons or more, each one slipping through a small loop, each one taking time and concentration. You fasten them carefully, starting at your wrist and working your way up, until finally the gloves are secure, smooth, perfect. Once the gloves are on, your arms are transformed. They look longer, more elegant, the covered skin creating a uniform, polished appearance. The gloves catch the light, the soft leather gleaming subtly, drawing the eye. Your movements become more deliberate, more conscious, because the gloves are delicate and expensive and must be protected from snags, tears, or stains. Evening gloves come with their own etiquette, rules that every woman must learn and follow. You wear the gloves when you arrive at an event, keeping them on while you greet your hosts, while you accept a cocktail, while you mingle and chat. But when dinner is served, you must remove them. Eating while wearing gloves is considered improper, unsanitary, evidence of poor breeding. You remove the gloves at the table carefully, unbuttoning them one button at a time, working from wrist to elbow. You peel them off slowly, turning them inside out as you go, preserving the exterior from any oils or residue. Once both gloves are removed, you fold them carefully and place them in your lap, or if the table is small, you tuck them into your evening bag. The gloves must never be placed on the table. That would be unthinkable. After dinner, you put the gloves back on, reversing the process, working the leather back up your arms, buttoning each tiny button, restoring the elegant covered appearance. This ritual of removing and replacing gloves punctuates the evening, marking transitions between activities, adding formality and structure to the event. Evening gloves are incredibly delicate. The soft leather can stain easily, pick up oils from your skin, tear if snagged on jewellery or rough surfaces. After wearing your gloves, you inspect them carefully, looking for any damage, any spots that need attention. You wipe them gently with a soft cloth barely dampened with water, removing any surface dirt. You never use soap or harsh cleaners on kid leather. That would ruin the supple texture, leave the leather stiff and damaged. You store the gloves flat or loosely rolled, never folded sharply, never compressed. The leather needs to breathe, needs space to maintain its shape and softness. You tuck them back into their tissue paper nest, closing the drawer gently, knowing that these gloves represent a significant investment, both financial and social. Because evening gloves are not just about covering your arms, they're about signalling your place in society, your understanding of proper behaviour, your willingness to follow the elaborate rules that govern formal occasions. They are the uniform of high society, the marker that separates casual events from truly elegant ones, the detail that announces you belong in the rarefied world of formal gatherings. When you wear your evening gloves, you feel the weight of expectation, the pressure to behave correctly, to follow the rules, to maintain the standards of elegance and propriety. But you also feel beautiful, refined, transformed into the kind of woman who exists in magazines and movies, who moves through glittering ballrooms with grace and confidence. Cigarette pants with slim, straight-leg trousers that hugged, the legs from hip to ankle without flaring or tapering. Named for their resemblance to the straight, narrow shape of a cigarette, these pants were sophisticated, continental, and associated with artistic, bohemian women who rejected the ultra-feminine silhouettes of mainstream fashion. Cigarette pants are different from the other pants in your wardrobe. They are not casual like pedal pushers, not sporty like Capri pants. They are sophisticated, almost intellectual, the kind of pants worn by women who frequent art galleries and jazz clubs, who read poetry and drink espresso, who consider themselves outside the mainstream of suburban domesticity. The pants are cut slim and straight, fitting close to your hips and thighs, then falling in a straight line to your ankles. There is no flare, no taper, just a clean, geometric line that creates a sleek, modern silhouette. The fabric is usually gabardine or a fine wool, sometimes black, sometimes charcoal grey or navy, always in solid, sophisticated colours that suggest urban elegance. You step into cigarette pants and immediately feel different, edgier, more cosmopolitan. The close fit requires confidence. These pants show your shape, your legs, the line of your body in a way that fuller skirts and dresses do not. You pair them with a fitted turtleneck or a simple blouse, maybe a cropped jacket or a long cardigan. You add ballet flats or loafers, never heels, keeping the look casual and understated. Cigarette pants are associated with European style, particularly French fashion, where women have been wearing slim trousers for years with nonchalant chic. In America, they are still considered somewhat avant-garde, worn primarily by younger women in urban areas, by artists and intellectuals, by women who consider themselves modern and progressive. Wearing cigarette pants in public draws attention, sometimes admiration, sometimes disapproval. Older people shake their heads, seeing the pants as too masculine, too form-fitting, evidence of declining standards and loosening morals. But younger people, particularly those interested in art and culture, See the pants as stylish, sophisticated, a rejection of the hyper-feminine aesthetic that dominates mainstream fashion. You wear your cigarette pants to weekend outings in the city, to gallery openings, to coffee houses where folk singers perform and everyone sits on floor cushions discussing philosophy and politics. The pants feel right in these settings, appropriate for environments that value intellectual engagement over conventional prettiness, substance over surface. The pants are practical too. You can sit cross-legged on the floor without worrying about your skirt. You can walk quickly through city streets without your hem catching on anything. You can ride a bicycle, climb stairs, move freely through your day without the constant awareness of managing yards of fabric. Caring for cigarette pants is straightforward. The sturdy fabric holds up well to regular wear, and most cigarette pants can be dry cleaned when necessary. You hang them carefully by the waistband, using pants hangers that grip the fabric, keeping the straight legs hanging smoothly without wrinkles or creases. You own 1 or 2 pairs of cigarette pants, not an entire wardrobe full. They are special pieces, worn for specific occasions, for moments when you want to project a particular image, sophisticated, modern, slightly rebellious. They are not everyday wear. Not yet. Not in 1955 America, where most women still default to skirts and dresses for all public appearances. But cigarette pants represent something important, the slow evolution of women's fashion toward more practical, comfortable, masculine-inspired styles. They are a bridge between the ultra-feminine aesthetic of the current decade and the more relaxed, pants-friendly fashion that will emerge in future years. When you wear cigarette pants, you feel like you are part of that future, part of a generation of women who are quietly pushing boundaries, who are claiming the right to dress for themselves rather than for the male gaze, who understand that elegance and femininity can exist in many forms, not just the narrow, corseted, full-skirted ideal of mainstream 50s fashion. The Bolero jacket was a cropped, waist-length jacket that ended above the natural waist, leaving the midsection of a dress or blouse exposed. These jackets were often decorated with elaborate embroidery, contrasting trim, or decorative buttons. They added a layer of sophistication to simple dresses without overwhelming the silhouette underneath. Your Bolero jacket is one of your favourite pieces, a small but powerful addition to your wardrobe that transforms simple dresses into complete polished outfits. The jacket is made from velvet or satin or a fine wool, fabric rich enough to feel special but not so heavy that it overwhelms the delicate proportions. The jacket ends just above your natural waist, sometimes even higher, hitting at your ribs, leaving the fitted waist and full skirt of your dress completely visible. The cut is simple but precise. The jacket fits close to your shoulders and upper body, often with short or 3/4 length sleeves that end well before your wrists. There is no collar, just a simple neckline that frames your throat. The jacket fastens in front with small decorative buttons or a single hook-and-eye closure, or sometimes it does not fasten at all, designed to be worn open, framing your dress like a picture frame. What makes Bolero jackets special is the decoration. Your jacket is embroidered with intricate patterns, swirls and flowers and geometric designs stitched in contrasting thread that catches the light. Some Boleros have beading or sequins, small sparkles scattered across the fabric, adding subtle glamour. Others have contrasting trim, ribbons or braid outlining the edges, defining the shape of the jacket. You wear your Bolero jacket over simple sheaths or fitted dresses, garments that would be too plain, too understated on their own. The jacket adds visual interest, draws the eye upward to your face and shoulders, creates a layered, sophisticated look that suggests careful thought and planning. The jacket says you understand how to accessorize, how to take a basic piece and elevate it into something special. Bolero jackets are versatile. You wear them to cocktail parties, to dinner dates, to any semi-formal occasion that requires more polish than a simple dress, but less formality than an evening gown. The jacket bridges the gap, adding structure and sophistication without the commitment of a full coat or suit jacket. The short length of the Bolero is both its charm and its challenge. The jacket emphasizes your waist, your posture, the fit of the dress underneath. Everything must be proportioned correctly, or the whole outfit falls apart. The dress must be fitted at the waist, the skirt must fall. Correctly, your posture must be upright. A Bolero jacket does not forgive slouching or poorly fitted clothing. You also wear Bolero jackets in daytime, particularly the simpler, less decorated versions. A plain Bolero in a coordinating colour can dress up a shirtwaist dress for church or a ladies' luncheon, adding a layer of formality without being too fussy. You button just the top closure, letting the jacket frame the front of your dress, then add your pearls, your gloves, your good handbag. Storing Bolero jackets requires care. The short length means they can easily become misshapen if hung improperly. You use padded hangers that support the shoulders, keeping the jacket's structure intact. If the jacket is decorated with beading or embroidery, you protect it with a garment bag, preventing the embellishments from snagging on other clothing. When the weather cools, you layer your Bolero over long-sleeve dresses, creating visual interest while providing a small amount of additional warmth. The short jacket does not provide much practical protection from cold, but that is not really its purpose. The Bolero is about style, about adding polish and sophistication, about showing that you understand the art of layering and proportion. Because the Bolero jacket is proof that fashion is about more than just covering your body. It is about creating silhouettes, about using clothing to draw the eye to your best features, about understanding how different pieces work together to create a complete, harmonious look. The Bolero is small, seemingly insignificant, but it transforms everything it touches, turning simple into sophisticated, plain into polished, ordinary into elegant. So tonight, as you settle deeper into your blankets, let's take a moment to remember the women who lace themselves into these garments every single morning. The ones who rolled stockings carefully up their legs, who buttoned tiny pearl buttons with patient fingers, who tied scarves under their chins, and stepped out into the world looking polished, put together, perfect. They did not think of themselves as glamorous icons or fashion legends. They were just women getting dressed, following the rules, doing what was expected, navigating a world that judged them constantly on their appearance. And yet, there was something beautiful in that daily ritual. The care they took, the attention to detail, the understanding that how you presented yourself mattered, not because you were vain, but because it was a form of respect for yourself, for the people around you, for the occasion at hand. They knew that getting dressed was not just about covering your body. It was about stepping into a role, about signalling to the world that you were ready, capable, present. Fashion in the 1950s was restrictive, uncomfortable, often absurd. But it was also intentional, thoughtful, a daily practice of creating beauty even when life was hard, even when money was tight, even when the world felt uncertain. These women understood something we have perhaps forgotten, that caring about how you look is not shallow. It is a way of honouring the moment, of saying that today matters, that this ordinary Tuesday is worth the effort of a pressed collar and a straight seam. So maybe tonight, as you drift towards sleep, you carry one small thing forward. Maybe you slow down tomorrow morning. Maybe you take an extra moment to smooth your clothing, to check your reflection, to step into your day with a little more intention. Maybe you remember that beauty does not require perfection. It only requires care. Good night. And may you wake tomorrow with a little more grace, a little more patience, a little more appreciation for the ordinary beautiful ritual of simply getting dressed and facing the world with quiet dignity.